We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. Cause Kristen knows blank.
I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know. Hi, welcome to the Kristen Knows Blank podcast. It's a podcast that doesn't know if it's a game show or a talk show, but that's okay because we're genre fluid around here. The only thing that matters is that this podcast is liked and supported and subscribed to. So take a second to like and subscribe to this podcast and leave us a review, because how will we get any better if we don't have feedback? I'm Kristin Key. I'm the host of this weird thing. You can find me at kristinkey.com. Find me, friend me, follow me on all my social media. I put out lots of videos and it's a real good time. Oh, and I'm on Cameo. So if you want to make somebody's day or send somebody a song or a greeting, do it with Cameo, and I'm there to help with that. This week, what a fun show. Great topic. Each week, my comedic guest chooses the topic. We chit-chat, we play some games, and there's a RAD Lib at the end. This week's topic is horror movies, chosen by a very talented actor and comedian, Drew Droege. But before we talk to him, I wanted to learn a little bit more about horror movies, so I called the one person I know that's been in a couple. Hey, computer lady, play my interview with Steve Smith.
Playing Steve Smith interview.
I put my my haunted house in the background because today's topic is horror movies.
Ooh, scary.
It's scary. Well, that's why I'm having you on, Steve. I wanted to talk to you about, you're the only person that I know that's actually been in a horror movie.
I'm still in a horror movie. We're all in a horror movie.
So remind me, what are the two horror movies that you were actually in?
I was an extra on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, and then they gave me a role.
How does that happen? How I would be an extra that ended up getting sent home.
Well, I made friends with the lead actors. We became friends. Robert Russler, who's still a friend today, we just started palling around and got to know each other, and he put me next to him all the time in scenes, and so that was great. I got to sit next to the lead, and then I'm going to the bathroom, and in comes the director, and he said, "Hey, you're doing a great job." And he's standing next to me, and you just try not to look down, and I said, "Thanks," and I'm trying to pee, and he goes, "Do you want to Freddy to kill you?" And I go, "Sure." Well, why not? I know. Well, that's huge. So, 2 hours of makeup later, I got killed by Freddy. It was great.
Oh my God. Okay, in the movie, how do you get killed by Freddy? Because Nightmare on Elm Street 2, it was, this is not a Heather Langenkamp was in the first one. That's the original, the classic. And then 2 came back with a different star, but the same storyline. Freddy Kruger kills people in their dreams.
Right. And he, the different director, one-time director for the Nightmare series, reviewed as the gayest horror movie ever made.
What?
Had tons of gay undertones in it all the way through.
I gotta rewatch it now. I gotta see the gayest horror movie ever made.
The gayest horror movie. And I'm in it. Yes.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So, really nice guy, and I got killed at the pool party near the end of the movie.
Okay, and how did Freddy kill you?
He's in the house. He disappears. He jumps up through the ground at the pool where all the kids are having a big party, and of course I can't get away. And all the other kids got away, but I can't get away.
Why can't you get away, Steve? What happened?
Went on the fence. I tripped. I got up, and then Freddy slashed my face. It was terrible.
Oh my God, that's incredible. So what was I don't even know about the second one. You texted me there's another one? You're in another horror movie?
Yeah, this one I actually read for and got the lead in, one of the leads in. It was called Slaughterhouse Rock. And
okay.
Just by the title, it's going to be a winner.
Wow. Now, did you die in this one as well?
Yeah, I got killed in this one. One of the lead actors, one of the 5 of us gets possessed. And then we go to Alcatraz, and I die there. He gets possessed, and he snaps my neck. And but it was fun. That was really
Can you recreate what it's like to die in a horror movie?
Gonna recreate it?
I know it's a big ask, but let's just say, I mean, for the sake of horror, let's say that, right? Oh, bravo!
I got it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me about it today, because the theme, the topic for today's episode is horror movies, because my guest is a big horror movie fan, and I thought, what a treat for the listeners and the viewers to see someone that's actually been in a horror movie. So thank you, Steve, for coming on and talking about it.
If you look in the credits, it says Stephen Brian Smith, victim.
Interview complete. Dismembering Steve Smith.
Oh, that's a shame what happened to Steve there. Yeah, but what have we learned? We've learned that if you're ever in a horror movie as an extra and someone asks, do you want to get killed by the villain? Just say yes. Say yes. So let's talk to the man who chose today's topic. Comedic actor and horror fan, Drew Droege. Hey, computer lady, play my interview with Drew Droege.
Playing interview with Drew Droege.
Drew, thank you for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you, Kristen. I'm excited to be here. How's it going?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you on because of your topic of area of expertise. What area of horror genre is your bread and butter?
Well, growing up, I always loved, in the 80s, I loved Freddy and Jason movies and slasher movies. I loved them. I don't know. I mean, there's a whole, you think about, queer identity and, and Final Girls that I related to. Do you know Final Girl? Do you know that expression? It's always the person who lives to the end, and it's usually a woman in most of the movies. And so the one who survives,
like Heather Langenkamp.
Yeah, Heather Langenkamp, exactly. So I always related to those characters, in movies. I just was like, that would be me. I would figure it out, and I would survive, or I would, like Heather Langenkamp, I would just set up a booby trap in my room so Freddy wouldn't get me or whatever. But then my mom was obsessed with Hitchcock movies, and so growing up, we would go to the video store, and she would make a deal with me, and she's like, you can get a Freddy or a Jason movie if you also get a Hitchcock movie and watch a good horror movie, which was win-win for me, because I was like, great, let's watch Rear Window or whatever. So yeah, I had a mom that was really into horror movies, and it was just something that I always connected with. I had a Freddy Krueger over my bed. I had a poster of Freddy Krueger and Tim Curry in Rocky Horror, Frankenfurter, over my bed. Those are my icons.
Yeah. So who are the best final girls? I mean, in your opinion? Because the ones that pop into my head right away are Sydney from Scream.
Yes, she's great.
Nancy from Nightmare.
Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. I also love Tina from Friday the 13th Part 7.
What?
She's
okay.
telekinetic. She's kind of they mixed Carrie with Friday the 13th. So she has powers to she can move boxes of screws into Jason's head or whatever, as you do.
Of course, it's very important. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess those are some of my favorites. I also really love in that of course I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but in the Halloween movies, I really love Danielle Harris, who's tiny. She's such a good actress. She plays Jamie, and she's in parts 4 and 5 of Halloween.
I remember, I was at a church lock-in when I first saw it. It's too scary for me. Yeah, I had to watch it again in my 20s because I didn't make it through that lock-in. I was like, I need to go home.
I love that your church lock-in was showing Halloween 4 and 5.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been. Yeah, it was a bad move, youth minister.
I know. Well, I remember I grew up Presbyterian, and in our rec room with all the other board games, there was a Ouija board, and we would go down at church and play with our Ouija board. And it wasn't weird. It wasn't until years later that I realized that that's the thing that they warn you against in church, it's witchcraft and whatever. We were just wrapped up in all of that. We were reading Bible verses and then asking what toppings we should order for our pizza, whatever important question you're gonna ask. Church.
I was gonna say, did anything weird happen? It's sausage.
Yeah. No pineapple. I don't know. No.
Oh, that's crazy. So did you get scared? Because I have trouble with horror movies because, I had one ex-girlfriend that was obsessed with them. And so when I was in my late teens, I watched a bunch because she wanted to watch them. But since I'm I can't watch them by myself because I have to watch behind a pillow. How do you How do you watch these movies?
I love them, and I think I don't know what it is. I really like to get scared. It's really hard. I mean, I remember like Silence of the Lambs is probably the most scared I've ever been. Like I saw that in the theater when I was 13, I want to say, when it came out, and that was the most scared I've ever been in my life. Like I was afraid of I had my feet up in the seat, that final scene of that movie.
Oh yeah.
But that's like psychological horror. Like that kind of stuff scares me more. Like ghosts and all that stuff doesn't scare me at all. But I don't know. I love that sensation. I guess I don't like roller coasters, but I think it's the same thing about how some people they love that thrill of being on a roller coaster. I'm just like uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm in a horrible turbulence, and I just am surviving. Like I don't enjoy that feeling of like I'm being thrown upside down. But I think it's like a horror thing. I think you really have a knack for it, because I get it when people are like, why would you put yourself through that torture of watching someone just like attack people? And I don't know, but I don't know why I love them.
Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, was one of my favorites because I think it holds up really well too. But like from the opening scene, when you just hear his like finger knives scratching, it starts scary and it just keeps being, even though it's ridiculous. Like there's so many lines in that movie that are ridiculous. Rod the bod.
And like the bed sheet that comes up and strangles him.
I forgot about that.
I think that movie is brilliant, and I mean it's Wes Craven who was a genius, but it's about like the children having to pay for the sins of their parents. Like their parents I mean, this was a child murderer, but they all got together and like killed this guy, and then he comes after their children later. It's just it's true horror. It's just really like, oh wow, they're never gonna let him leave, and you have great actors as the parents in that first movie, John Saxon and Ronnie Blakely, who like are like drunk and like sad. I mean, it's really like they got it all wrong in the remake, which I think is awful and kind of offended me. But the original, the 1984 one, is just like, it's incredible. It's such a good movie. And yes, ridiculous, haunting in your dreams and whatever.
Oh, but it's great as far as like I guess the point of a good horror movie is you walk away and it stays with you. Like you're scared. Now it's like, and what a great way to scare someone. It's like you don't have that relief of, well, I'll just go to sleep. It's like, oh, I can't. That's where Freddy comes.
You have to stay awake.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. So what is like you said the scariest you'd ever been was from Silence of the Lambs when you were 13. What in the last adult...
What have I seen? Oh, I'm sorry. The Invisible Man. I love The Invisible Man.
The new one or the old one?
Yes, the new one. I loved it. Elizabeth Moss is incredible, and that really spooked me. I saw it in the theater in February or whenever it came out, January or February. And back when we could go see movies in theaters, telling our kids.
Right. Isn't the Invisible Man's like a romantic interest of her that they broke it off, her ex?
He's her abusive husband and she's running away from him. Yeah, it's super dark.
I had an ex that if they were invisible, it'd be like they would just steal my things, I bet. That is like a worse nightmare. It's like being tormented by an ex that now you can't see.
Oh, there's so many, the repercussions of it. It's like, I mean, just like the metaphor in it rather is so like, is incredible, because it's just the idea that like he's never going to leave you alone. So it's just like, ooh, it's great.
Yeah, that is gross. About that would be the worst breakup. It's when you really can't get out of because they're haunting you.
I think you're gone, but oh wow, my coffee mug just moved. So maybe you're right behind me.
That's the mildly annoying Invisible Man.
They just move things around. That's it.
Where is my toothpaste? Stop. Damn it, Jim.
Oh, it's just 3 feet away from where I left it. That's just annoying.
Yeah, I don't hear any like, get out. I just hear giggling.
No. Right. Exactly.
So who are your all-time favorite villains from horror movies?
Freddy Kruger is definitely, I would say, definitely my favorite. And because I think Robert Englund is just a phenomenal actor. Like and I do love both of the villains in Silence of the Lambs. That Hannibal Lecter and James Gumb are both great, like terrifying. There's a movie called House of the Devil that I love, and I love the bad people in that. It's Tom Noonan and Mary Warrenoff. Carrie's mom. Does that count?
Yeah,
Margaret
that totally
White?
counts. Those of us who have
I'm gonna put a
mother's
lady in
issues
there.
would totally put her in the villain category.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I love her. And then I'm gonna just because I've just finished watching I'll say Michael Myers because I've finished watching the
he's
Halloween
good.
movies
Yeah.
again.
Of that series, I feel like I like 1 a lot. I love 2, and then it's like you skip to 4.
Oh, and oh yeah, they're weird and like they really don't fit. And then every Halloween movie rewrites the whole story. So like the origin is different every time, and you don't know like are they brother and sister? This movie they're not brother and sister. In this movie, there's one movie that Michael Myers isn't even in.
That's 3. Yeah. That's the weirdest movie I've ever
So
seen.
weird.
I don't understand why a franchise would be like, okay, we've got the killer, we've got the story, it's working. Let's scrap that. We're going to
Let's
make
scrap all of it. and
killer
make a whole
Halloween
different
masks.
thing.
Yeah.
I know. Well, what I've read about that is that originally their idea for Halloween was every Halloween movie was going to be a different story. So it would be like an anthology series. But they ruined that because they made Halloween 2 the same night as Halloween. So they continue that story, but in their mind, they're like, we finished the Michael Myers story in those 2 movies. So we'll do a brand new movie, and then every year we'll have a new movie.
Idiots. Yeah.
And of course, everyone hated the silver shamrock mask and that whole thing, so they were just
and the song I've seen the movie once. The
bum,
song
bum,
will be
bum,
stuck
bum,
in my
bum,
head
bum,
for the
bum.
rest
in
of
your
my
head forever and ever. Yeah, it's scary in its own way.
I think the worst movie for as far as like the one that stayed with me longest. I'm going to ask you that. What movie has stayed with you the longest or affected your life in some way? I also watched a lot of black and white Hitchcock movies as a child, which I should not have. And The Birds, I have a lifelong fear of birds because of that movie. Wow. It makes my wife laugh because we were on a walk not too long ago, and a bird just flew out of a bush in front of us, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, crows know your face. Like, and she's like, it's a bird. I'm like, they're gonna get me. They know.
They know. I don't like birds either, and I'm wondering it might be that movie did it to me too, because that movie really, really traumatized me. As a kid, the schoolhouse scene.
Even working on that set, you'd probably be scared of birds. There just shouldn't be that many birds together ever at once.
Well, in the story of like Hitchcock, he was so abusive because he hated women so much, and like he had his type of woman that he put on, that Tippi Hedren wouldn't sleep with him, and he was so awful to her that apparently for 3 days they did that final scene and they were just throwing birds at her.
That's awful,
imagine?
Drew. That is
Awful.
terrible. I did not know
Yes.
that. See, this is the
I'm here
wealth
to
of
ruin
knowledge
things.
I need from you. It's that Hitchcock was literally abusing women on camera.
Yeah, he was not. He was insanely talented, arguably greatest horror film master of all time, but also not a great person.
Wow, poor Tippi Hedren. Like, I thought we had it on 2. No, let's just keep going. Just do
one
it
more
again.
day of this. I think she needs one more day.
Really felt like that was the performance. Nope.
Yep, we got it. No, we don't have it.
More birds.
But I would probably say for me, Silence of the Lambs definitely did. It had an impact for me for a long, long time. Like it still is a haunting movie. I'll watch it maybe once every 2 years. I'll put it on and I'm just like, this is pure horror.
Wow. For some reason, I was able to make it through that one, but I think it's because that's a movie where I fell in love with Jodie Foster and started realizing I might be gay.
Oh, there
because
you go.
I'm so not scared. I'm just like, hey, girl.
Hey, I like her.
You're going to make it. Yeah. Get that girl out of the well. You're cute.
I don't know. It just depends on what does it for you, because it's like there's certain movies that I think that will like just scare people so much. I think for a lot of people who grew up Catholic, The Exorcist is really scary to them, because it's like there's something connected to that. And Exorcist, I think, is a perfect movie. I think it's a beautiful movie, but it doesn't scare me in the same way. Like I'm not as scared of demon possession as I am like just a crazy person in a house. Ooh, that's.
What about like Poltergeist? Poltergeist, that one got me, and also like Poltergeist 3, I think it was.
Is that the one in the high rise?
Yeah. The hallway of mirrors.
Oh,
Anything with mirrors. Because my parents we had some hallway in our house, and they would always put this antique piece of furniture with a mirror on it, and I'd have to like walk back to my room and see it. And everything that I ever saw in a horror movie, I assumed was going to be in that mirror.
Wow. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
Our imaginations go, yeah, of course. I love Poltergeist.
Sure.
I love that. That was like on HBO all the time as a kid. I loved watching it, but it didn't scare me as much. But like for me, like growing up in a small town, North Carolina, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of, I can't watch that. That's one that is like, it's its own kind of, it's a masterpiece, but it's so disturbing. It's so gritty. It looks like a home movie, and it's so upsetting what they're. It's just there's something about like rednecks in the woods that really, really terrifies me. There was a movie
It's a little too close to home for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're from small town as well.
Amarillo, Texas,
That's
baby.
right.
In fact, I know my friends always claimed that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house was like within an hour or two of where we all grew up, but nobody could like exactly say what road it was off of or how to get there. You're just like, but everybody's been like, well, I've been there. I'm like, yeah.
That for me, and I remember as a kid, another one that really stayed with me was Cujo. Because I mean, like
the dog.
The dog. Oh yeah.
Aw.
Have you seen it? Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I mean I know what it's about, but it's like he's a bad dog, right?
Well, it's a Saint Bernard who gets rabies, and in the entire movie, for most of the movie, it's Dee Wallace and Danny Pintaro in a car being terrorized by this dog that will not leave them alone, a mother and son who are dehydrating and trapped, and this dog is circling their car. And it's Stephen King. It is.
Wow.
Oh, it's really scary.
What about the newer, like the Saw and the?
I hate those. I don't like torture porn. I don't like feeling like when something's like, we're gonna cut out this part of your body and make you eat it or make you hold it or whatever. All this stuff that's just it's just gore without any suspense or without any setup. And also like, I don't know. There's a whole level too about like I do want someone to root for. I think it's why I do like a Final Girl thing, and a lot of those. I haven't seen a lot of those movies. That's why I didn't know where your questions were, because I was like, if you have questions that are like in that world, I may not know those because they don't appeal to me where everyone's just an awful person and it's just like, let's just gross you out with how many creative ways that we can, I love Final Destination movies. I think those are mind-blowing. They're not at all scary to me, but I think they're just so fun.
They stick with you though.
Yes.
Do you ever drive on the highway and like a truck in front of you will be like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. This could be my day. This is my, or I'm on a plane wondering like, okay, which pattern on the seats am I?
Absolutely. Like, a little screw might fall out of the of here and roll down and get in someone's water and then spill and then, next thing you know, the plane's going down. Yeah, I know.
Oh, I love them. I love them. I hate pop-outs so much, but it's also what makes movies fun. Like the scene from Jurassic Park where Laura Dern just gets Jurassic Park back online. She's like, Jurassic Park is back online. And a Velociraptor comes through the wall. I broke the movie theater seat. I was like,
then Invisible Man will devastate you in that way. Invisible Man has some of the most... There's a scene, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but watch it if you like. There's a scene in a restaurant that I couldn't, it was so upsetting, and I couldn't believe what they did, how they surprised you in this one moment. And everyone that sees it knows what I'm talking about. It's just like, what? No, what? Like
wow.
It's time for
5 quick questions.
Are you ready to do 5 quick questions?
Let's do it. Yep.
Question number 1. Can you name the actor and the horror movie where Rachel and Phoebe's friend works as a reporter?
Yes, that would be Scream and Courtney Cox.
There you go. It's question number 1. How fun. Okay. Question 2. Can you name the actor and the movie where a coal miner's daughter has a real shitty prom?
Yes, that's Sissy Spacek and Carrie.
See, you're taking them down one by one. Can you name the actor in the horror movie where the Activia lady has a domestic violence issue with her brother?
Yes, Jamie Lee Curtis and Halloween.
Excellent.
I guess technically you would have to say Halloween 2 and or Halloween 2018 because to your question, they're not brother and sister in Halloween and Halloween remake. So Halloween 2 would be the actual answer to your question.
So in Halloween 1, we don't know that they're
In
brothers.
Halloween
We don't find that
1,
out until
she's just
yeah.
a babysitter who randomly puts the key in the door, and Michael Myers sees her and just goes after her. And then in part 2, they reveal that they're actually brother and sister. But then in the remake, the most recent one, they only acknowledge the very first movie, and so they're not brother and sister in the most recent
bull.
one.
That is bull.
Yeah.
Question 4. Name the actor and the movie where Edward Scissorhands gets sucked into a waterbed.
Johnny Depp, Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes
it's
in that
still the
movie.
greatest ever.
I don't think that movie would be the same without Johnny Depp and Heather Langenkamp. If they would have cast any 2 other people, that movie probably would have failed.
Or Johnny Depp's cut off midriff shirt. Because hello, to your Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs, Drew Droege was enjoying the Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Did it take the scare factor down when you're just like,
Oh, hello. No, I had no idea. I was so late to the game and understanding that about myself. I think I was more like, I want to be friends with him. He seems really nice.
Yeah. Aw, that's how I felt about Jodie Foster and Candle Shoe.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, I didn't
Candle
discover
Shoe.
that other feeling until Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be more than friends.
Be adult friends.
Okay, here's my last question, and this is on a different line of questioning.
Okay.
If you had rented the tape from The Ring from Blockbuster, how long would you have to return it before you died?
Oh,
this is not about the Blockbuster return policy. This is about how long do you
is
have
The
the Ring movie before you die.
Okay, so The Ring is one that I have only seen once a long time ago, so I don't know.
I will give you a hint. It is said on the phone. You watch the movie, you pick up the phone, and they just say this amount of days.
7 days?
7 days. You did it.
You helped me with that one. Thank you.
It was a clue, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
You nailed 5 questions in the horror genre. You truly are a horror expert, according to Kristen Knows Blank, which is not saying a lot. And now it's time for RAD Libs. So this is my favorite part of the show. This is where we play a RAD Lib. I wrote a story specifically for you, but I left out some parts of speech. You're going to give me those parts of speech, and together we're going to make a hilarious story. Are you ready to play RAD Libs?
I love it.
I need a verb ending in ED.
Traipsed.
All right, I need something you yell.
Hey, man, get out of here.
Do you yell that a lot?
Oh, every day. To myself.
I need a body part.
A fingernail.
I need an increment of time.
Handful of seconds.
I need a tool.
Screwdriver.
Okay, I need a celebrity.
Amber Heard.
What is she from?
She's from Johnny Depp. She's Johnny Depp's lady, and she's been.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know, or they were. They're very not anymore, and there's all the drama with them right now. But yeah, she's like a newer. She's part of our community. She's a bisexual.
Okay, I need to look up the bisexual Amber Heard.
Gorgeous, blonde.
I need a sitcom.
Different strokes.
An adjective.
Raunchy.
A disaster.
Too many books.
Too many books. Can you explain how this is a disaster in your life or the lives of others?
You just have too many to read, and it's a disaster. Where do you start, Kristen?
Okay, I need a Halloween costume.
A little firefighter.
That's a cute one.
Mm-hmm.
An adjective.
Oh, sultry.
One more adjective.
Pleasant.
A school club.
The student council.
A body part.
Oh, teeth.
Occupation.
Clerk of court.
Like a stenographer.
I think it's a court clerk. I think there's also there's like position of someone who's in charge of like the records that works at the court.
Oh, I like this. I'm just gonna say the clerk of court because it sounds very like royal.
Yeah. Oh, yes, for sure. It's very royal.
A body of water.
Oh, Lake Michigan.
A liquid.
Campari, and Campari's my favorite liqueur.
Ooh, what is the flavor of Campari?
It's bitter orange. It's bright red, so it looks like it'd be really tropical and sweet, but it's very bitter.
Is it like what is it? Grand Marnier? That's different?
It's
orange.
way less sweet than that. It's
Okay.
yeah, but yes.
A medication side effect.
Restless legs.
A U.S. state.
Vermont.
An adjective.
Fuzzy.
A phrase.
Tell it to the bank.
Is that a well-used phrase? I love that. Tell it to the bank. What are we telling the
It
bank?
sounds like if you say anything with attitude, somebody will be like, well, tell it to the bank. When someone's like, I'm doing great, you can go, tell it to the bank.
Tell it to, well, there's going to be hashtag tell it to the bank.
Yeah, there you go.
A weapon?
Hammer.
Yes. Oh, it's a scary weapon. A verb ending in ing.
Giggling.
And we have a story. We have a story, fantastic story, written just for you, and it's called The Scariest Movie Ever.
I can't wait.
I saw a movie once. It was so scary. I literally trapped out of my seat in the theater and screamed, "Hey man, get out of here!" It had scenes that made my fingernail crawl. After I saw it, I couldn't sleep for a handful of seconds. The movie was called Screwdriver Face.
Oh.
Starring Amber Heard and that girl from Different Strokes. The all-star
Dana
cast.
Plato?
It was all about this raunchy guy who had died from too many books.
See?
Such a
Works.
classic story.
Works for me.
But was brought back to life when some little firefighter performed some sultry magic.
Creepy.
Well, being reanimated made him pleasant and murderous.
Oh, there you go.
He started killing everybody. The high school student council was found in a dumpster with their teeth cut off.
Oh, that's really disturbing.
The local clerk of court was found floating in Lake Michigan. In
See?
one scene, there was so much Campari that I had restless leg syndrome.
Because you danced, because it was delicious.
Guess that's one way of putting it. The scariest part is it was based off a true story in Vermont, and the guy was never found. So, if you're alone in your house and you hear a fuzzy voice whispering, "Tell it to the bank," don't look back. Grab a hammer and start giggling.
See?
Well done.
We did it.
We did it. We did it. Now, is there anything you want to tell the audience about that you have coming up?
You can catch my solo show, which is called Happy Birthday Doug, on BroadwayHD.com. I played 9 gay men at a birthday party from hell. So check that out. And I'm going to be on an episode of Bless the Hearts.
Great show.
With a great show with our friend Fortune Feimster.
Yes,
I don't have any
fantastic.
scenes. I don't have any scenes with her, but she is on it and it's great. And all the like Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, and a bunch of great people like that. And that's coming soon, so look out for that. I am on Instagram and Twitter at Drew Droege. So find me.
Wonderful, guys. Find, follow, and become a fan of Drew Droege. And Drew, thank you for stopping by today.
Interview complete. Haunting Drew Droege's dreams.
Thank you so much, Drew Droege, and again to Steve Smith for coming on the show this week. If you guys like this podcast, please take a second to like, subscribe, follow, and review the podcast. If you'd like to drop us a line, we have an email. It's Kristen@KristenKnowsBlank.com. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, bye.
We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. 'Cause Kristen knows blank.